Every moment is a choice, and we get to create through that choice the experience that we have in our lives. Now, I did not know this my entire life, and I certainly didn't live this way my entire life. If you would have asked me this, or I would have watched this video 20 years ago, I would have been like, no, it's not. You're wrong, bald, slightly enjoyable person. Man, no, it's not. Because I have experiences that are very unpleasant sometimes, and I can't change them. And I would have said to this young Jonathan, Jivan Das, well, I understand where you're coming from, young man. I really do. Do you want to learn a little bit about this? And I would have said, no, thank you. And this video would not exist. So anyway, every moment really is a choice. Now, we get to choose how to think, how to feel, and how to act. Now, it doesn't occur to us like this naturally, we could say, because in especially our Western world here, we're programmed to think that we don't get to choose how to think. We don't create thoughts, that we can't create how we feel, that in some ways we can't even create how we act. Some people actually, I think, feel that way or believe that they can't control how they act. Obviously, we can. But the same is true for our feelings and for our thoughts. If we really practice consciously thinking, we can create certain thoughts, which then create certain feelings, which then create certain results in our life. Now, I'm only sharing this because everything that I share in these videos, I have practiced, and I have experienced the results of this practice. Many years ago, I had this really strong desire to be a rock climber. I was really into climbing. There was something about it that drew me to this world of climbing, and I sucked at it in the beginning. I was very afraid of heights. I was constantly scared, but there was a thrill to it and something I really wanted from it. So I just kept getting after it. I kept getting out on the rock. I met new people that would go climbing with me. I learned how to do some things. I eventually started bouldering, which is like just climbing off the ground, doing very intense moves. And then I got into sport climbing, which is where you clip ropes into bolts and then you fall off the rock into the air, and it's pretty relatively safe, actually. Then I got into trad climbing, which really opened up this whole world of climbing mountains, and I could just go up anything that I wanted to. It was fantastic, and I've been doing it for 25 years, essentially, and I'm a high-performance rock climber that I now have the skill set that I could get up pretty much any face or mountain that has any kind of features in the rock. I could find a way because I have that skill set. And so the same is with this practice of creating every moment as a choice. How we think, how we feel, and how we act. Now, just a few days ago, I was in a funk. There was no external reason why. Everything in my life is fantastic. I have this wonderful life in Naples, Florida. I go to the beach most days. I have this great yoga practice, a studio that I go to. I've got a cold plunge that I just threw down for. That's fantastic that I do once a day. But I was in a funk, man. And there was no real reason for it. So I remembered this teaching. I was actually going to record this then, but I wanted to get through that and really practice it again to make sure I knew what I was talking about. And I realized that even though I was having this experience that was unpleasant, I found a way to appreciate it. And what I mean by that is, if I was talking to a therapist, they would have said, well, you're suffering from depression. Right? I'm a therapist too. But I know that's not what was going on. I was just going through a wave of some kind of down moment in my life, which is fine. I found a way to just appreciate and accept the experience that I was having. At first, I wasn't very good at this, even just a few days ago. I resisted this experience that I was having. I didn't really like it. It was unpleasant. I felt very uncomfortable in my body. I was not stoked. I was not motivated to do things like this or do writing or meet with clients or do all the things that I'm doing. I was not motivated to, but I did them. And I found a way to be in my heart and to be expressed and to do them as fully as I could. But at the end of the day, I was just miserable. I did not enjoy my own experience of life. I would meditate and I would go into this very deep state and I would have a semblance of relief from that and could feel this peace and this depth, and it was wonderful. But as soon as I came out, I was just so prickly. You know what I'm saying? You have days like this. So I went back to this teaching of how every moment is a choice. And I was looking at, okay, how can I think about this experience? How can I create certain conscious thoughts about this experience? And I did, and I'm sharing with you now that it's okay. That was the mantra for those days. It's okay. I'm feeling a certain way. It's okay. Stay in action, do the things that I know are good for me to do, and live my life fully, and it's going to be okay. And it is okay, actually. Secondly, how to feel. I wasn't going to change my experience of my feeling world. Like I just surrendered to that it just was like pretty uncomfortable. I don't know when it was going to end, but it was just uncomfortable. And yet, when I accepted that was the case, this relief came. I practiced acceptance, that I was just accepting this experience that I was having. I'm surrendering to this experience. And actually this like glimmer of comfort came. It wasn't comfort, a glimmer of peace came over my entire system. And I kept practicing it like, it's okay, and just accepting how I was feeling. And then I acted in certain ways that I know for myself. I'm 46 years old right now. And I know there are things that I can do that have me just live a fulfilling, purpose-filled, dharmic-driven life for myself. So I stayed in action around those things. So every moment that we live is a choice, regardless of what's happening in our lives. So accept how you're feeling right now, especially if it's funky or not good or anything in that world, and just accept it, and then it's okay that you're having this experience. That will unlock an ability to shift into anything else. It will unlock your whole nervous system. It'll unlock your brain's capacity to think differently. Because as soon as we don't like something and we resist it, everything clamps down. Our cells clamp down. Our ability to think creatively clamps down. Our brain gets contracted. It's and it's unpleasant, bottom line. So take a look for yourself right now. What's your experience of your life right now? Are you having struggles with your kids? Are you having problems with your partner at work, with your physical body? Just accept for a moment the experience that you're having and understand and get into this world of how every moment is a choice. Through this practice of acceptance, we can start to think more consciously, feel more consciously, and then what actions we are to take will be informed by that renewed, accepted, spacious way of living, right? All of this creates a foundation for how we think about the world and ourselves. And the next stage will be to look at our belief systems. And maybe you've even heard this video and you're kind of like, I understand, but that's not my experience and it's not true, which is totally fine because I felt that way at one point in my life. And I started teaching and I started learning from all these different people who had what I wanted, who felt the way I wanted, who created their life the way that I wanted my life to be created, the life that I wanted to feel, and the results I wanted to have. And this is what they taught me, my version of it packaged for you. So give it a shot. Take a look right now in this moment and see how this moment is a choice, that through the practice of acceptance, you can look at and create how you think, how you feel, and then that will inform how you act. All my best.